Where's my sip? Ugh, my vocal cords are dry. Oh, that wasn't a sip. Oh, that was like 4 or 5 gulps. Oh, I'm dehydrated. Oh. Oh, fuck. Right. Here we go. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Oh, my shoulders. Oh, painting goo 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 goo. Painting, you motherfucker!
Spicier.
That hasn't happened in a while. How dare you? My intro! You ruined it! You ruined it! You motherfucker, YouTuber! When's the last time that happened? I thought the Jews knew better. I thought YouTube would leave me a rune? Would leave me a rune? Leave me a rune? Oh, fuck. You ruined my intro, you bitch! Painting goo 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 goo. Ow! It's fucking ceiling! Painting goo 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 goo. Oh. Happy fucking Monday, what? Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo. It's painting goo. Oh. It's 3! Cha-cha-chi! Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Alright. Everybody give it up for our resident petrified primate, the marvelous monkey, Myro. Oh, stretching goo. Painting goo. 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 Painting goo. Oh, Christ. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. It's painting fucking goo. It's painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Goo goo goo. Goo 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 goo. So many goos. Painting goo. Goo 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 goo. That's it. Bring it home, Myro. Remind these filthy mortals of the meaning of beauty and honor. It's a Monday. Let's get this shit on the road. Painting goo. Painting goo. Oh, I'm vibrating. It's painting goo. I'm not vibrating. The phone's vibrating, but you know what I mean. Right! You know the drill. If you have free wear, you wear. Pay the monkey. If you have any honor, you pay the monkey for praying you such beautiful tunage. I would never pay him. Ever. I refuse to. I mean, why would I? He was sent here to vex me in multiple ways. Greetings, my beloved Japanites, and welcome to another glorious episode of PEINTEINGU with me, your glorious host, Demigod Defenderu. Today is a glorious day. It is brightly shining, at least for the moment. 4 times already. The weather has been moody and changeable. 1 minute is a pissing rain. Next minute is a beautiful blue sky and excellent sunshine as it beams through the windows of the PEINTEINGU vessel and heats my back. Which still doesn't know that it's time to go, cause my back is still fucking stiff. Right, I hope you all had a glorious weekend. Please excuse me whilst I descend into proper PEINTEINGU posture. Initially, it was swift, but then it slowed down. But not as bad as it used to be, or has been, which means just like the weather, and just like the smoothness and palpableness of the butter in my kitchen. It means we are leaving winter. It is glorious. As much as I love the winter for many reasons. Mainly being snow, obviously. Snow is beautiful. Fresh powder all over everything is a glorious spectacle to witness. However, 4 months of fuck all vitamin D can leave one feeling slightly mad. Just a tad mad. So, Saburo-sama, Printer Bear-sama, welcome to PEINTEINGU. Garros, the Canadian is doing your job again. We really must have a conversation, Garros, about your functionality here on the PEINTEINGU stream. I'm getting to the point where I might just do what the Canadians do and mercifully euthanize you. What do you think? Shall we ask Garros what he thinks? Garros thinks you should like and subscribe, you cunter. That's what he thinks. Look at him. Peer deeply into his eye holes, past the sunglasses and aluminium bucket. And be reminded to like and subscribe to PEINTEINGU, lest you insult your ancestors. Smash the like button, like it has insulted your ancestors. Otherwise, you shall insult your ancestors. Either way, your ancestors shall be insulted, based on your interaction with PEINTEINGU. It better be a good one, a positive one, a productive one, a good, true, and beautiful one. If it's not, your ancestors will probably fuck you in the night, deeply. They shall penetrate you and remind you that sodomy is a form of evil and should be cast out of civilized society. Why is there a plaster on my face, you ask? I'll tell you why. A volcano-like eruption happened on my face this morning. A cyst of some sort has grown in my cheek over the weekend. There's also one on my neck. Clearly, I have consumed something in the last week or two that disagrees with my system. Occasionally, this happens. When I was younger, I was told by a shamaness, shall we call her doctor, in quotes, that I was allergic to chicken and eggs. This was a lie! I spent years not eating one of my favorite food sources. Only to realize it's not chicken and eggs. It's some sort of additive, perhaps. I have no idea. I am still convinced there are many ways that this society has erected to poison you mortals in various ways. Since my descent from Chinese heaven, after doing the PEINTEINGU of the Monkey King and all of that shit happened. Fucking Monkey King! Anyway, we're not doing that. It's Monday, I need good energy. Right. Since my descent, it has been a struggle to get used to the various ailments and oddities that you mortals have to contend with. I do, as of late, have compassion for many of the daily activities you must endure. The first was shitting. That is horrific. Never before, as a divine entity, have I had to excrete such a foul, smearing substance from my very own being. The fact that you human beings, you filthy mortars, that is why I call you filthy mortars, is because you shit. Gods don't shit. Gods don't shit. For eons I did not shit, now I shit, and I just, amongst everything else, the stresses of life, you know, a bad shit can really ruin your day. But there are also other things that stress me. Apart from the filthy nature of you filthy mortars. Where is everyone? The Gades is spreading. Go! Send word far and wide that the goo froze. They will come, they will come. They always come. They always come. Why? Because PEINTEINGU draws them. It is a unavoidable occurrence. An inevitability that they will show their faces on the PEINTEINGU streamer. Why? Because they cannot resist my demi-divine energy. That is why. Saburo-sama, I cannot believe that the only one here is a Canadian. It's like the old days, when it was just me and Demon Hunter Beru. Or like the even older days, when there was a, shall we say, schism in our little bear community. 1 minute, I have 79 views. The next minute, somebody questions the Trinity, and I have 30 views. It wasn't even me that said anything. That is another thing I find quite entertaining about you mortals. Words can sow dissent in a group and can often be far more effective than any poison or braid. When I say braid, I do not mean stabby. I do mean stabby. I don't mean hair braids. You know. Stabby, pointy braids. Stricey. Not female fingering of the hair. Female fingering of the hair is hilarious. I have had my hair braided many a time. In both ways. Stricing and twirling. I have had my hair tickled into submission to form a beautiful braid. I had Viking braids, Gurry braids. Gurry braids on a mare can be hilarious. Pigtails, so funny. Not to be seen in public. Shameful. But when you are drunk and people take photos, and you're the only mare in the room with really wrong hair. There was a time when my hair was really wrong. like people would just see my hair and be like, that's just wrong. That's one of the reasons I love speaking Japu. It's like sometimes is he saying blade or is he saying braid? It's like, I don't know. I have no idea what language he is speaking. It sounds like English, but his pronunciation is fucked. He is replacing all the R's with R's. All the R's with R's. Oh, fuck. How are you, Pretty Bear? Are you well? How are you, Staburo-sama? Are you back in work? You still sick? Have you still got the Gades? Or you... Oh no, you were taking a family day off the other day, that's what it was. I think it's so funny, it's like... Instead of people being like, oh, I'm sick, I'm dying with the flu. That's what I used to hear people say, is like, oh, I'm fucking dying. Now it's like, I've got the Gades. I'm being gay. It's like, what do you mean? You're sick? It's like, nah, being gay. It's so much better. It's such a better attitude to have, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, you do have loads of, like, I used to hear that all the time, like, oh, I'm fucking I used to say that, you know? Oh, I'm dying, you know? And, like, words are powerful, man. They really are. Words are very, like, in a sense, all of this, like, all of that fucking, all of that, what you call it, all of that fucking censoring and like that cautionary behavior, you could argue it's cautionary, like, do you know what I mean, in a sense, but like, oh, we can't say this because this might happen and all that shit, like, do you know what I mean, like, there is, like, there's truth in everything, like, do you know what I mean, there's a sliver of truth in everything, and there is a truth in that because words are, like, insanely powerful. That's what's so funny about all this, like, the hilarious reality of it is that words are insanely, like, it's like, you know, sticks and stones and all that. But, like, I know, don't get me wrong, it's not just words, you know? It's also things like leverage and shit. Because, like, it's not like if somebody just says something to you, you'll do it. They kind of have to have something over you or some shit like that. But it still doesn't rob words of their power that they do have. I'm still interested to see if, like, there's certain words and tonalities that can actually, like, do shit. I wouldn't be surprised. I can imagine, like, a lot of monks with, like, giant tuning forks being like, dinger, and all this shit, and, like, rocks splitting in half and floating around and all this shit. Like, I want one of them bowls. You know, them fucking, didn't somebody give Owen one of those things and he didn't know how to use it? It was hilarious. One of them Tibetan monk bowls where you, like, ding, and you, like, fucking run the edge of it with the thing and all, like, sound bowls. Bell bowls, I don't know what the fuck they're called, like ringing bowls. I love all that shit. There's loads of stuff about Asian culture that I fucking love, like the sounds, the food. Apart from all the sea shit, their sea shit's wild. I don't know if I'd eat squid. Back at work, my father got rushed to the hospital last night. Complications from the hip replacement. Oh shit! He got rushed to the hospital? Complications from the hip replacement? What, like, did they fuck up a blood vessel or something? Like, what happened? Is it serious, or is it just like, oh, he just needs to be patched up, like, we fucked up a bit? Oof, bummer. I hope the gay clears up on his hips. Yeah, he's got gay hips. His hips are being gay. That's it, like... No, you should have worded that differently. Back at work, my father got rushed to the hospital last night. His hips are being insanely gay. Oh, my face is being gay. I've got a gay face right now. Female turned around, she was like, "Who do you think you are, Nelly?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, I didn't get the reference because, you know, I'm not a fag and I don't listen to, like, niggers rap. The only rap I like is white rap. That's not true. I love Busta Rhymes and fucking. I listened to a lot of Tech Nine when he was big, but it was mainly Eminem. I'm not gonna lie, like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't listen to, like, Tupac or 50 or even Lil Wayne. And some of the shit I've heard from Lil Wayne is pretty cool. I like some of the Lil Wayne clips. The way he talks is hilarious. Man, I don't see no color. Fucking shot himself in the chest when he was 12. Like, man, you gotta be a fucking retard to do that shit. Like, which end does the bullet come out of? Pow, pow, pow. Oh, nigga, please. Usually have the kids at painting hour. Where are the kids now? Are they on holidays with the female? With the grandparents? Did you sell them to a foreigner for money? I mean, times are rough. To think that there's some places, like, that are legit facing, like, right now, like, absolute mad shit, like, seeing stuff on the news and all, like, in Africa and South Africa and all, like, and watching videos of fucking... I was watching, like, I didn't watch the full thing, but I watched a few minutes of, like, what's going on in South Africa with the crime and shit, like, and just the scale of some stuff. Like, living in Ireland and growing up in Ireland, like, you know what I mean? It's, like, comparatively a very small island to, like, and country and shit, like, to other people, like, population, country, land, like, all the shit, like, you know, it's very peaceful. It's Hobbiton, do you know what I mean? Or at least was, it was Hobbiton. and now Hobbiton is being invaded by the orcs. It's crazy. It's crazy what's going on. Like, the stuff we're dealing with is crazy in the sense that, like, you know, like, government just throw a load of foreigners in a place, and then people are like, what the fuck? And next thing they know, they're like, either they have the same amount of people that they have always had in the village, it's now doubled almost, or they're outnumbered by like 7-1 in some places. I've seen a story about a place in Germany. It was wild. There was only 102 people in the village, and like, it was one of them villages that was so small and so old that like everybody in the fucking place knew the mayor, like, on first name basis. And the government turns around and it's like, oh yeah, we're going to be sending like 700 like refugees, or like, you know, asylum seekers, whatever they call them now, like. And the mayor apparently was like, I thought it was a joke when they said it to me the first time. And no, they actually dumped like 700 fucking, like, you know, they keep using this term fighting age and all, which I think is good rhetoric for the truth community, in the sense, like, the, you know, the army of light. I don't like saying truth community and truthers and stuff like that, like, because like there's so many groups now, and like, sure, I'm part of the bear community, but like, I don't see myself as being a part of like any ideological group. Do you know what I mean? I think the second you like the second you subscribe to a particular ideology, you like kind of shoot yourself in the foot. There's just a digger just like beep, 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 just like right outside my house, like 10 feet away. It's actually hilarious. Like, I'm dressed like this with a painting of a fucking village in Andoran, and I'm talking about some deep shit, and there's just somebody backing up in the background. I love this. Streaming's hilarious. Fucking what was I talking about? Some deep shit. I know I was talking about some deep shit. All this crap kicking off. People getting moved in. What was I talking about? I can't remember specifically where my point was going. I'm scrolling. He was having chest pain and a nerve twitch that wouldn't stop. Oh, it's probably just something that, like, that's a, like, my initial diagnosis upon reading that, because I have no medical knowledge. That's not true. But like, if it's something to do with his hip and it's a nerve and he had chest pains, then that's probably like a blood vessel or a fucking artery or some shit, like, because you have like major shit going through your hips and your pelvis, like your femoral artery and stuff like that. Like, that's the stuff that freaks me out, man. Like, you know, fucking, if somebody just like, everyone's always like, you know, oh, what if this happens, what if that happens, and like, you know, like, they all have all these like common fears of like what can happen to you in a night out, like, you know, somebody bottles you or some shit, like typically, like, a lot of the stuff that happens to you, like, is not like, the probability of it being life-threatening is quite low, you know, but the fact that humans can be so durable and, you know, resilient, and the human body can heal from so much and work with so little, like, you can still have one lung, like, all this, that, and the rest. But at the same time, you could just put a hole in somebody in a certain spot and they're dead. There's like nothing that can be done. Do you know what I mean? I don't care how quick you get help. If somebody just gets an ice pick and puts it in your neck like that, you're dead. Like, and it doesn't need to be an ice pick, like, you know what I mean? Like a sharpened 2B pencil, they could just go like, da, and just like, that's it, you're dead. You're not dead yet, but you're dead. Like, it's wild, like. And that's why I think, like, don't get me wrong, there's like a lot of really cool shit about like modern surgery, trauma surgery and stuff like that, where it's like, oh no, this person was in a car crash and, you know, they have a punctured lung, fucking broken back, broken neck, fucking bit of their intestine is like ruptured, fucking loads of shit wrong with them, and if we don't like open them up and fix all this stuff, they're gonna die. And then they do, and they fix them, and like, you know, they survive, and it's great. That's awesome. That's cool. But the modality of tearing something open to fix it and shit, like, do you know what I mean? Like a human, like the biomechanical nature of organisms is not the same as like a machine. Like, do you know what I mean? I always think of like human bodies or like an animal's body, like organisms are different in the sense that like we're like an ecosystem. Like you're not one thing. You are not one thing. You know, you're not just you. You're a soul, whatever you want to say about that shit. But then you're in your body. But then there's like electrical signals and stuff like that. Like you like your nervous system and stuff. So there's you, then there's your body, then there's your mind, and then there's your like gut feelings and stuff like that. Like so, even like your consciousness is an amalgamation of many things, and then your body is an amalgamation of many things. It's this like fucking huge collection of like you've got mites on your eyebrows and stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? You literally are like an ecosystem of all these like little things working together to keep you alive and shit. You okay? Oh. So like the way I've always looked at like health and stuff like that is like if you could figure out what's your neutral state, just like a glass of water, not even with the lemon in it, but like just a glass of water. If you could find out where like your natural state is like, the glass of water with nothing in it. Anything you put in your body is like when you put a drop of ink in water and you see it disperse in that fashion where it like the ink becomes the water becomes the ink. That's that whole like you are what you eat, or you are what you eat eats, is like Owen says, which makes a lot of sense. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like if the animal that you're going to consume has imbibed something and shit like that, like obviously that would affect it, like, especially like hormonally, chemically, like alchemically, like on a microscopic level, like, or the blood or whatever, like, So like it's just fascinating to see like how brutal, in a sense, like, do you know what I mean? Because it is like the way they like split you open, and like there's like saws and clamps and all this shit. Like when you watch these shows or watch like even the real stuff, like accident emergency documentary or something like that, like, and they are just hacking away and slicing and fucking. I need more suction to sucking all the blood out, the fluids and stuff, and they're just like cutting things open, like, oh, there's a bit of the organ that's gone, like, do you know what I mean? Like, absolutely wild stuff that we do in the name of supposed, like, oh, like, we must save him, like, it's mad. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a way of, like, just using sound, like, if there was, like, remember that, if you ever seen the movie Elysium with Matt Damon, I liked it. Thought it was cool. Same director, was it Neil Blomkamp or some shite is his name, as District 9. District 9 and Elysium are really, like, if you're an artist like me and you some movies for me can be carried by how cool it looks sometimes. Like Chappie, that was another one he did, wasn't it? Those three movies are like aesthetically like really awesome. Very realistic, but like creative at the same time. Like, fucking awesome looking shit. Oh god, my mouth was so dry. Oh, been drinking like not a lot of tea, but because I'm not drinking coffee, well, how long is it? Nearly a week now? I have no idea. I don't keep track of these things. Apart from the fact it was like, have I had any? No. Okay, how long has it been? I don't know. Well, that's probably a good thing. I feel good though when I wake up now. I've already got that effect going. Where like I wake up and I'm nowhere near as lethargic. I don't feel like I need a coffee before I'm like conscious, I'm not like the grogginess and fogginess in the morning is like already starting to go away and shit. I think smoking's going to be the next thing for me. I'm going to try and smoke like just less and less and less, to the point where like once in a blue moon I might have a cigar or something, like, it'll be one of those awesome Chads living his best life. Oh fuck, I'm dehydrated. Marju! Demon Hunter Meru, welcome. Didn't sleep for 3 days. He didn't sleep for 3 days? Jesus, well that's not good. Got him on hydromorphone now, poor guy. Yeah. Oh man. That's why like there's a part of me where I'm like, whatever about staying generally healthy now or whatever, like I want to get like really healthy and jacked and like lift heavy weights and stuff like that, like get like really fucking healthy so that I have a good base that I can just try and maintain into my elder years, because like I don't want to be one of these like frail old people with like various ailments and stuff. You know, Margie's not like that. Margie's fucking powering through all of her fucking like, I got a broken back, I'm missing teeth, but I got guns and I don't take no shit. Waiting to hear back from me ma. Well, may the gods bless him. Hopefully the news is positive. I think it's an infection. Should have known better when he was walking up. When he was up walking around and doing really good right after the surgery. Like that's why like some like the drugs they give you sometimes can be too good in certain ways, like too effective in certain ways. Like I don't believe in painkillers anymore. I used to like take painkillers like a lot because I had tooth pain because I just didn't take care of my teeth because I'm a fucking retard. And I started to get like wild nerve pain because my mandible nerve was being lit up by my wisdom teeth that were like rotting in my head. Wild shit. Like I used to just sit there drinking Monster, smoking, eating bags of Haribo, Star Mix, and gummy bears, the golden bears, and I loved every minute of it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like when you like I can imagine there's loads of like former heroin addicts that think like that. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, well, maybe not, but like a lot of my experiences, like when I look back on like all the gaff parties I had, most of them were like such good crack. Like I suppose that's probably why I have like a fairly good like mindset these days and all. Like I'm very grateful for where I've ended up and how my life has gone, and like how I've just been like, okay, that's enough in various things in my life. Like I got to like 25, which is hilarious because they say that's when your frontal lobe finishes or whatever. But I got to 25 and I was just like, okay, I've had enough of like lots of this stuff. I'm just not putting up with like any of this crap anymore. Like, and like the relationship with my ma got better. Fucking loads of good things happened in my life. Like my relationship with my female has gotten better in like various ways. We still have fights now and again and stuff like that, and there's still like struggles like money and stuff and stresses and shit like that. But sure, you're always gonna have like some form of struggle. Like, do you know what I mean? But as far like overall in my life, the past like 7 years, everything is like so much better. Mental state, everything like. I keep thinking she's coming in to say something, and she just like hangs something up or like picks something up and leaves or something. She's in one of her cleaning buzzes, like. Oh, she's gas. Margie's a boss. Margie is a boss. Don't fuck with Margie. Margie's the resident Japanite elder. Where would we be without Margie-sama? Look after your temple. Yeah, like I don't like. There's still a few things where like I don't look after my temple enough, as you can see. Like, and if you can see the thing on the back of my neck right now, it's wild. Like, I obviously eat stuff that I shouldn't still, and it like builds up in my like liver or my kidneys or something. Cause like I can feel that like where I get the lumps, there's like, they're like. Not the meridian lines, but like, you know, where all your glands and like a lot of these like fluids and hormones and stuff are carried by the, I don't know what you would call it, like, you know, not just the veins and stuff, but isn't there like a layer of your skin or the fascia that helps like even, well, your muscle stuff gets into your muscles and stuff and all, doesn't it? Like there's all sorts of like materials that penetrate throughout your entire system. Muscle fiber, fascia, nervous system, and then like was it your like epidermis, subdermis? I can't remember all the fucking shit, but it was like I'm trying to remember now. I have seen a cross section of a human being, and it was one of the wildest things ever. There was that documentary where like some old dude gave his corpse to science, and they like cross sectioned him and did a fucking study of like, so this is where the male penis actually starts. It's like way up in the fuck. So it's like everybody in the crowd was laughing because he was making it out like the old dead guy that they're looking at was hung like a horse. Because it's like, this is how big his penis actually is. But it's like, It's funny. So the things that made like everybody laugh during the during the, what would you call it, exposition, experiment? No, lecture. It was basically a lecture. I suppose you could call it an experiment, like, or whatever, like. But it's mad seeing a human being just in like slices, like, you know. And like, there is still a part of me sometimes where I'm like, is that real or is it just really good synthetics done from animatronical like drawings and shit, like, you know? And then part of me is like, why wouldn't it be real? I mean, like, we live in a time where like fucking nothing is sacred, like you just display shit, like, you know. It's wild. It is kind of mad these days where the line between real and not real has been blurred to the point where like sometimes you're like, is it real? I don't know. Like, it's fun though. It is fun sometimes being like, well, how do I know though? Like, do I need to be a fucking like in terms of the digital shit? It's like, do you need to be a fucking programmer or an expert in AI to be able to figure this shit out? Probably sometimes, depending on the context. Like, but there is a security in being able to just trust your instincts, you know. But you have to tune them. You can't just trust your instincts. Your instincts could be wrong. So you have to like tune your internal compass to be as accurate as possible in like every facet of your life. Every moment of your life, like, are you making the right decisions? Do you have good habits? Is every action you're taking doing something positive and productive? And like, of course, all of us have shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I still play arguably too much video games, but now I only do it on the weekends, and I try to keep it to a minimum. Do you know what I mean? But I still like indulge, you know, still eat chocolate. Like, there's loads of stuff I still do that, like, throughout the last 7 years of going down this various rabbit holes of like, okay, so what's real and not real, and what's true and not true, and who's lying to me, what organizations are lying to me, who people, what kind of people, like, looking into, like, you know, all the different kinds of like psychological breakdowns of different types of people, like narcissists and all this stuff. Like, you know, I think there is a oversaturation of category going on right now in an attempt to define things again accurately, where it's like you've got these, and these, and then you've got the subcategories of these, and these, and there's fucking 10 subcategories of every fucking category, and it's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, like, can we not just say, like, you know, sometimes it is handier to just be like white people, black people, you know, like Asians, you know, like, and you have to get specific. It's like, and I know you do, depending on the context, you know, it really is just the context. Be broad when it's suitable to be broad. Be accurate and finite and microscopic and meticulous when it's called for. Like, do you know what I mean? That's what I think it, like, you know, a general life rule should be instilled into you as a child. Is like the real, like, one of the fundamental rules of being is finding out how to know how to be in every moment, you know. And like, you take a lot of lessons from nature, you know. This is when you wake up, this is when you go to sleep, eat when you feel like this, drink when you feel like that, you know. Like, man, I've heard some truther shit that like would make you question even that. Like, how do you know the rumbling in your stomach means you're hungry? What if the rumbling in your stomach is just the demons screaming because you're like addicted to food? You should fast for 10 days and see what happens. Man, if I look at me, if I went on a fast right now, I'd probably fucking have a heart attack. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's my lack of faith. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, you know, that's why I tentatively approach things. You know, I try to be logical and rational, where I'm like, sure, that would probably like benefit me in various ways in a health aspect, but not right now, because I'm obviously underweight. I'm very gaunt. You know, I'm chiseled and gorgeous and all this shit, but I'm gaunt, you know. I'm underweight and shit. Like, and if I was gonna fast, I need to be like way healthier to do a proper fast and reap the benefits from it. Like, how long have I been rambling? 40 minutes. Excellent. Don't treat your temple the way the Indians do, full of rats and monkeys and poop. Yeah, like, Indian food is delicious though. Do you know what I mean? Like, at least the Indian food we get, like, do you know what I mean? But I have seen stuff in like, you know, the street food in Mumbai and all, where you see people just eating loads of random shit with their hands off of paper, and like God only knows the unhygienic state of a lot of things. Like, but then you could also make the argument that like it's just the crossover of like, if one of us entered their environment, it would probably make us incredibly ill. What happened to your face? Oh, I had like a fucking big like cyst spot thing. I spoke about it earlier on. I get them sometimes. Like that's kind of why I'm talking about like well-being and health and shit. That's like the general tangent of like thought that I'm on right now. Because I get these like lumps on the back of my neck, and they're always in the same spots, where like you have these like, you know, you have a lot of blood vessels and shit like going up the back of your neck, and like, you know, glands and shit like right back here behind the jawline and stuff. And whatever is with my diet, there's something in my diet that causes a build up of a certain substance, where I get like lumps and stuff now and again. And then like I'll have weeks where like nothing, totally fine. And then I'll get sometimes where it's like I had it like a while ago, a few months ago, I had a really bad one on the right side of my neck. Really bad one. Got really big. You could see it on stream and all. Like, do you know what I mean? It was like like I had like a head, like fucking. I had a mini me growing out the side of my neck. I'm not a baby. I'm a tumor. Like, is that Hellboy? Fucking, it was wild. But it's like getting sick sometimes. Like, I'm used to them now, in a way where like I'll get a flare up, like a really bad one, and I'm like, oh shit, it needs to be purged, and I'll like, you know, clean it up and then manipulate it, and then it'll like give, you know, and then I just like drain it and all, like. But there's also like over the years, like, because I don't trust doctors and stuff like that, like to turn around and be like, oh, it's this, you know, take this, like, you know, the further, like, and I'm not paying 60, 70 fucking euro for a diagnosis, like, that may or may not be true, like, so I prefer experimentation, where I just like remove shit from my diet and see what happens, and then like put shit back in my diet and see what happens, you know. Like, for a while, I just stop eating this. Just pick something random, like, just like stop eating this. Think something you think it might be, like, you know. It's usually junk, like, you met the junk food I still consume. Or like chocolate, biscuits, jellies. Just nowhere near the amount that I used to, like. It was like a fucking staple in my diet at one point, like. Hey, it's lunchtime. Fucking bag of gummy bears, like. I remember when you had that bandage on your neck. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. It was only a few months and shit, like, you know. I get them now and again, and I don't know what causes them. Could be gluten, could be bread or something, like, do you know what I mean? Maybe if I just, like, stop eating bread for a while. So, like, every now and again, I'll just be like, okay, I'll stop eating this. Because one of the things, like, you know, like, I didn't have the money to go get a lot of dental work done. So I just changed my diet, and I started taking care of my teeth. Started brushing my teeth regularly enough, and using, like, you know, organic oils and oil pulling, really, like, that felt like a cheat code. That was one of them life hacks that actually works. You put coconut oil in your mouth, get like a teaspoon or a tablespoon. I was putting tablespoons in, so it like actually filled up my whole mouth, and you could get like a foam going. You like swish it around till it's like foamy and all, and then leave it in your mouth for like 15-20 minutes. Do not swallow. And then just, like, you know, get rid of it into a cup or something. And you can wait till like it goes hard, and then like chuck it in the bin. Or you could like I used to just like chuck it in the grass outside, in a spot where like nothing grows, you know, like, just in case bacteria or whatever. But if anything, I think part of me was like, I wonder what the fuck is gonna sprout out of the ground. Like, it's fucking like all that bacteria from my mouth and shit, like, introduced to all the fucking like biome and bacteria materials that are in the garden and shit. Like, alchemy and shit like that fascinates me, man. Where it's just like, if I just leave this here, this'll happen, you know. And if I put this with it, that'll happen and all. It's just the fact that like loads of different shit came from broccoli, or the mustard, not broccoli, mustard, the mustard seed. Wild, so cool. Like you don't think of like mustard and broccoli like being related, like, at all, like, do you know what I mean? Because the difference in taste and such a wildly different taste spectrum, where one is like very potent and the other one can be argued like it's quite bland. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like crazy, like, you know. So it's like, to me, it's like really easy to see that like our history is full of shit that like if people knew how it actually worked and you were able to, it's kind of like, you know, being able to just find the ingredients and the instructions to make a homemade bomb on the internet. Like, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like that, where it's like, could you imagine if people still knew how to like successfully do a home, you know, abortion just chemically, reliably, you know, instead of having like all of this fucking like what looks like an Aztec pyramid where it's like people, like all these women lining up to abort their baby and all, like, do you know what I mean? A lot of shit was probably just like in the shadows, done at home. People could find out how to do it from an expert or a master, or passed, like, information was passed down, and then like so much stuff went public. People were doing, you know, public medicine, public healthcare, public finance, public all this fucking shit. Like, so you get these like huge, these massive scale concepts instead of like a conspiracy. Like, you know, like the lower scale thing would be like there's only like 6 alchemists in this area that know how to mix this certain potion, and that eventually becomes like, you know, night all or some shit, like, where it's this branded, mass produced, you know, recipe that is real specific and does this thing. Like, you know, it's like before they would have either there is the Prometheus element of like information has been given to us from a higher being or beings, like, because I don't necessarily think it has to be a god, you know. It could have just been like a more advanced species that like we're not aware of, we're ignorant of as far as the public is concerned, like, do you know what I mean? That to me solves the whole like alien and demon shit for the most part. Is just like, that's the stuff the military keeps from you, is not just technology, is like what's actually out there, you know, because people would freak out. And not, it's not just people would freak out, is people would be way hard, like, you could totally understand the argument of like, it would be way harder to defend you from this enemy if you knew it existed, because there would be a lot of people that would try to combat it themselves in an independent sense and then get a movement going. And in a, like, there would be an argument for like, you know, it's like the vigilante argument, when police are like, dude, I know you're trying to help, but like, if anything, you're not only getting in the way, but you're putting yourself in danger. And now you're like, what would be the term? Now you're like a random element in this in this equation. You're a wild card that we can't predict, so you actually make our job harder, you know. A lot of that stuff's very similar. Like, you say the same shit with like behavior and like humanity and society and all. It's like, if you do have all these people like like vast military control over jurisdictions with like force, you know, big guns and shit, like, it's like, what is actually out there? What are they actually defending you from? Are they defending you from the Russians and the Chinese? Like, really? Well, what are they all defending each other from? Is it just, are we just defending it from each other? Is it all just infighting? Because that doesn't make any sense when they have like, you know, a world order meeting, and like, you know, you have Dubai and like they're, we're not like, you know, even though they wouldn't say the world is at war, the world is always at war though. There's always a part of the world that has a war going on in it. They say World War One, they say World War Two. It's like, oh yeah, but they ended, and like, we killed the bad guys and the good guys won, and now we have this treaty and that treaty. But it's like, yeah, but Vietnam not war, Cold War, fucking like all this. Then you've heard about all these like the Armenian War, the Armenian genocide, and all this shit that like you don't hear about in school or hear about on the news, or like, you know, if the conspiracy theorists and the truthers talk about it enough and then something happens, then you see it in the news. It's like, oh yeah, so there was this stuff, and then they run a narrative, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's all in a, like, you could argue it's all an attempt to keep you safe from yourself, you know what I mean? But then the arrogance and the hubris of that, to be like, well, we as the descendants of like, you know, really rich and powerful families are the ones that have to keep you, the profane, the goyim, you know, safe from yourself. You know, that's like that fucking psychotic mother energy shit where it's like, you know, I know what's best for you, you don't, like, do you know what I mean? Which totally removes free will. Wouldn't that remove the mandate of heaven from them? If they are actually like, no, you don't understand, like, we have to lie to you and poison you, and we have to do it to you in such a way that it's consensual, so we don't get any karmic blowback, or you actually have a reason to, justifiably, legally, or spiritually be like, hey, you've trespassed upon me, like, I deserve, like, justice or vengeance, or like the tables must be balanced or some shit like that. Like, it's like, no, you did it of your own free will, but we manipulated you into using your own free will by using the stuff that you, like, your desires and stuff like this and shit like that, like, and your ignorance, But does that actually make you... It's like, is it your fault? Like, you know what I mean? Because they straight up will tell you that, like, oh no, it's a trick, but you have to fall for the trick. And only certain people fall for the tricks. But, like, we've all fallen for certain tricks. So is it like the overall rule is like, if you don't if you don't become aware of how this shit works at a certain point, then it's like your own fault, and that's why, like, kids are innocent and stuff like that. And so what they're doing is incredibly evil, but it's still within the realms of the rules of engagement spiritually, which is fascinating, because if it's that sophisticated, like it is some kind of divine cosmic clock or chessboard with rules and big players that we can't see or hear or touch, but they are there and they do affect everything. And that's why words and that's why sounds are so important, is because it's the one thing that transverses both the material and the immaterial realm, is the voice, the breath of man, the breath of God, the divine. Being able to do this, being able to just like ba 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 ba, and a sound comes out and communicate an idea, is incredibly powerful, because, like, I don't need to put my hand to a material and then destroy it and process it into a different material to do something. I can just say something, and people might do something because I said something. Like, that's powerful, like, that's crazy when you think of it like that, where, like, because when you first time, like, well, why does everybody give a shit about, like, racist and nigger and Jew and kike and all this fucking, these words, like, oh my god, Voldemort, he who shall not be named, all this shit, like. But it's like, that is such a bitch move. That's like, so, like, why would you be afraid of words and all? But based on what I just said, which makes sense, you should be afraid of words. Like, you know what I mean? But it's the context. You can't, you shouldn't censor other people to the point where they can't say what they want to say, because you need free will intact. But at the same time, you can't just let people say wild shit all the time, because it's like there's like a pattern rule. There's like mathematical rules, like to life, like the whole syndrome thing out of what's that, the movie The Incredibles, the bad guy syndrome, where he's like, I'm gonna make everybody super, because when everybody's super, no one will be. And that makes sense, because he's like leveling the playing field. Now the game is different, because now everybody has superpowers. So it's like the same with words. It's like, you can't say this, 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 and this. Why? These reasons. Okay, well, those reasons are stupid and don't make any sense. Well, you can't say this, this, and this. Why? Because you might summon a demon and it'll destroy everybody in the village. Okay, well, that's a good reason. So stop saying this, this, and this, and stop drawing these symbols. Like that shit makes sense, like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, no, you can say that, but not this. Why? Because saying that does this. And it's like, it's like, okay, that makes sense. But, like, they're saying, you can't say this. Why? Because a black man will get upset. And, like, that's against the social rules. It's like, that's ridiculous. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a perspective that it makes total sense from, and then there's a perspective that it makes, like, no sense from. But then you could also argue from the perspective that it makes sense, like the biblical shit and the religious, like the Vatican, and it's like, oh, nomina patris, begone demon. Fucking, like, that can also be inverted and perverted, which it looks like it has been, where it's like, oh, we must expel the demon within you, child. but like the child is totally innocent and is like screaming and crying because what the church is doing is demonic. And that's where you get the comedy and the tragedy of irony of like these what initially start off as like divine movements of being connected to the source end up being corrupted and inverted, and then being churches of the anti-source, or like, you know, the destruction gods or some shit like that. Like, I find this stuff fascinating. And now I've been rambling for an hour. Where am I in the chat? My ex-son-in-law passed away that I loved, and my son was in a bad wreck. Oh shit! I only had about 7 hours of sleep in a week, but I got. Oh shit! That's a lot. That's a lot of drama in 1 week. Holy fuck! What happened to the ex-son? Did he pass away because he's like, you know, what was he? Well, you're in your 70s, ex-son-in-law. Was it a health thing? Bye, Printer Bear. Domo arigato for your attendingu of the PEINTEINGU. And my son, your son was in a bad wreck. Only had about 7 hours sleep in a week. Jesus Christ. How bad was the wreck? Is he still in hospital? Or is he like going to be okay? Give me the deets. I want deets, people. What's going on in the lives? What's going on in the realm? I'll do some painting in a bit. Oh god, I'm so dehydrated. I didn't wake up until like fucking 12 o'clock or some shit. Like, stayed up way too late. That's my problem. I still, like, on the weekends I'll indulge because it's the weekend, you know. And it's funny, you know, your weekend. I am weak on the weekend. I'm like, oh, it's the weekend. I'll fucking be lazy and indulge and procrastinate. Like, I'll just fucking stupid. Oh fuck, kind of hungry. Right, we'll get this show on the road. We need to put an Anaconda Chemicals and Thomas the Tank Engine in here. The way I'm thinking I could do this is that I could like slap, you know, the atypical looking, like stereotypical fucking barrels with the toxic symbol on them, and some like fucking. I won't do green because there's a lot of green in this already, so I'll do like toxic purple. I'll do like, you know, I'll do like Ivan Ooze at a Power Rangers or something, like the Ooze. I died from cancer. How old was he? In his 40s or something? 50s? Mad. Was he battling it long? Adik Fordu, welcome to PEINTEINGU. What was I saying? Yeah, I'm thinking we put Thomas down here, following this line here, because there's nothing down here. There's just empty space down here, really, like. And I could fit him in down here, and it's a road going around the village, so it's the perfect place to put a fucking train. If you have to put one in, so I'll put Thomas here. I'm gonna put his face here, and he's gonna be looking up. I'll put loads of guns on Thomas, attacking the anaconda. I'll put the anaconda around the tower mainly. Maybe I'll put like, if I put his head coming out here, will I put his head over here? Or will I put his head over there? I might put his head here. Have him screaming down, coming at Thomas here, looking up, guns shooting. Have this snake coiled, going behind, in front, and then behind again. And then maybe coming out here and like hanging down the. And then I'll put toxic barrels all over the place, but like fucking bright pink and purple goo coming out of them. Yeah. Right. I have envisioned it, and I will make it so. Tunes. So kick back, relax. And if you can't kick back and relax because you're in work, rock in. Fucking lock in, because I'm about to put the tunes on. What are we feeling? What are we feeling today? Metal Monday? We do Metal Monday? We had one for metal, didn't we? That had no ads on it, and it was good. and it was good, like the Bible. It happened, and it was good. That's the end of it. If you had space for it, you could have Thomas towing the Gustav gun. Yeah, but like, what would I do with it? If he's towing it, that means it's at the end, and if his face is going here, that means there's going to be a massive gun in the background, not pointing at the Cobra. I mean, I could aim it at the Cobra, so he's towing the gun, so it's shooting at the Cobra, but then the angles of that wouldn't line up. Like, I could make it line up, but it wouldn't look right. I was just going to put guns, I'll put multiple cars on him, and put like guns, different guns, and like I'll put a rocket launcher on one, a big fucking anti-air looking thing on another, and maybe like a fucking like a big Gustav style cannon. But like obviously it wouldn't look like Gustav because it's not gonna, like, if you want to look at the painting and be like, oh look, it's towing Gustav, it needs to be like this fucking big, like it needs to be the size of the painting. Did they make two of them? Did they make Gustav and then something else? He cracked 2 ribs, back T-bone, and an L-bone. Breaking ribs is horrible because breathing's going to be horrible, like laborious and painful for a while until they heal completely. He can't do anything, and he's a proper go-getter. That's horrible, yeah, because if he's bedridden and can't really do anything, he's going to be just like fucking gone. He's going to be going up the walls with boredom and shit. I feel for people like that, like, you know, people who are like really athletic and play sports and they're like on stream, like all not on stream, like on game, like all the time, or at least most of the year, and then they break something, and it's just like, oh well, I have to wait for this to heal. You know, some of them react quite well where they just play video games for weeks, like, do you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, you know, or catch up on reading or some shit. But then some people react to it real bad, where they're just like, "Oh my god, I'm so fucking bored. I can't do." They focus on what they can't do, you know, which is unfortunate, but it's understandable. It's hard to change that much that rapidly. I think that's one of the main issues that society has a problem with all the time now, because technology changes things rapidly, and so does all the like propaganda and the, like. If there's too much change too rapidly in a certain context, because it can be good, do you know what I mean? You know, with Trump coming in and going, executive order 1 2 3 4 5 6, bang 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 bang, we're getting rid of this. That's great, because for a long time there's been no change. You know, it's just been getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So that's when you come in with a machete and just clear everything out. But like, if stuff's like chugging along well and people are enjoying stuff, and then something just goes wham and there's a lot of negative change, that's when like it's like jarring and like, oh my god, is it all over? Yeah, I know, don't worry, your stream, you do your thing. I am trying. Don't feel like I feel like I'm letting you down because I don't think I could do what you suggested, like, do you know what I mean? It's fine, like, I know you're just throwing shit at the wall. That's what I love. Because remember when Margie just goes, do a wallet, and I'm like, yeah, why not? Like, because I could fit it in. If I could fit it in, I will. But if I can't, I'll just be straight up, because I don't want to fucking. You can't force it. Do you know what I mean? If you force it, it'll probably look shit. It needs to flow. And like, Gustav's huge. Like, you know. Like, the more I'm thinking about it, like, if I did it right, maybe perspective-wise, I could have Thomas the Tank Engine being really long himself, like he is like a really long train, and I could loop it up the hill behind the buildings, and maybe have, like, a bit of him going across the hill here, and in the background, like, another cannon, like, lobbing a shell from a great distance away. Maybe. I don't know, like, I could put shit coming over the fucking... Yeah, like, I could maybe do it like that, where, like, I could start a train tracks, like, here, and have it coming down this hill here, and then going down, and then maybe. We'll see. Because trying to get the perspective right on what is essentially a giant mechanical snake and then another snake might not work out right. I want to get the size. I think I'm debating now. Will I do an anaconda first or Thomas first? Part of me's thinking start at the bottom, give yourself a good foundation, and Thomas would be easier because he's going to be bigger and going that way and all like. And then part of me is like, no, you should get the snake in. I don't know. We'll figure it out. There was the Paris gun and then Gustav. Which one was bigger, Gustav or the Paris gun? And they called the Paris gun because they were able to hit Paris from Germany, wasn't it? Like, fucking ridiculous. It's so funny. Like, just like that does sound like a cocaine or meth induced idea. Like, do you know what I mean? That does sound like, it's like, guys, I've got an idea. Why don't we just make the biggest fucking cannon you've ever seen in your life and shoot the biggest fucking like munitions ordnance you've ever seen in your life and see if it works. I love that mentality of like, well, we could just make a bigger one. Like, you know, like the Americans have kind of had that over the years. I used to love when I was watching the Guinness Book of World Records, and quite often it was like an American thing, especially with food, where it's like world's biggest hamburger, and it's like 10 kilos of beef. Like, you get about fucking 20 bites into the thing, you're like, oh Jesus. That's a lot of burger. Son-in-law had been fighting cancer a long time. He was 55. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Cancer's a bitch, man. It's one of those things. Like, I don't know. Like, I think like it might. I don't want to upset anyone, obviously, but like, my opinion on the whole cancer thing is that like, it's a combination of like lifestyle and mental state, and I think it's like totally fucking survivable for like most people, you know, especially if it's like if it's gone too far. I suppose it's gone too far, but like, I don't know, I just don't believe in the concept of like, no, you're too far gone, you're going to die soon, you know. I don't believe that, especially at 50. Fuck that. Like, there was something that could have been done about that. But again, it's the whole free will thing, like, you know, because there's people that's like, I don't trust the medical industry, I'm gonna figure out how to heal myself, and then they go and they see a lot of like, you know, what other people would call fringe, you know, or that's like unethical medicinal practices because you don't have a license, like, do you know what I mean? This whole shit of like, I know you need, like, have you got a license for that firearm? Have you got a license for that car? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, you have the legal right to do something, and like, yeah, I know like why that exists is because like you could just own a car and you could just crash and kill somebody, like, do you know what I mean? So in order for, like, there needs to be like a regulatory gay, because there's a lot of fucked up people out there, and that's why those things exist, is because like it's like when you're like, at least in Europe it's like really bad, but I don't know what it's like in the States. I'd say it's stupid over in the States as well. There's like, especially with construction work and warehouse work, right? There are lots of, or like production lines, or like, you know, machinery and shit. There's safety measures that make total sense. Like, don't put your hand near the giant moving parts. Like, makes total sense. You know what I mean? There's safety measures that make total sense. Please stand behind the yellow line while the big, huge, stampy thing fucking presses the metal. Like, do you know, it makes total sense. But then there's lots of other, in lots of industries, there's lots of other, in quotes, safety procedures and safety protocols and all that shit that only make work harder, that only cost money and waste resources. They only take up time and make things take longer. Bureaucracy has a tendency, like, you know, that mammy state of like, we can't let people do this freely because this might happen, you know, and that's why insurance exists and all. Like, it's funny. It's funny to me. It is basically a realization and acknowledgement of like, so you have a population of human beings that have gotten to a stage now because of the convenience of technology and the widespread fashion of like communication and shit. Yeah, you have a load of human beings, myself included, to like various degrees, that don't even know how to look after themselves in a fundamental way. You know, like a lot of people will look at me and be like, I don't own a car, and I've never taken a test, and I don't have the license, and I haven't driven a car in like easily over a decade. You know, or any kind of vehicle. I just walk everywhere and I take public transport. And for ages I had a bicycle. Never needed it. Never wanted to save up the money for one. Any of that shit. Like, do you know what I mean? I spent my money on other shit. Like, but it doesn't like affect me because I am the way I am, and I live my life the way I live my life. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like these metrics that people judge people by. It's like, oh, you don't have a job, or you don't have kids, or you don't have this. Is like all that is just like an aspect of your reality. Like, do you know what I mean? Because there's loads of people who do have jobs and they're horrible fucking people, and everybody around them wants them gone or dead. And there's people who do have kids and they should never have children. They shouldn't be around children, and they're horrific people, and they've made that they've made the children's life fucking horrific. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like there's nothing that's just like good, you know. Even the sun isn't just good, especially for like me, where it's like, yeah, sure, it's great, fucking makes everything grow, awesome, but if I stand out in it too long, it'll kill me. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like the ocean, water, you know, too much water will kill you, but you need it to live. Like, it's like I'm literally fascinated with the idea of like the natural fucking, you know, the observed realities passed down through generations of like dudes just looking at the stars and mapping them out, dudes going around in boats and airships and making maps and lying about shit, you know. And like the medical industry is another one. Is like, you know, the amount of shit that we wouldn't know, or maybe like wouldn't have changed, like if like you didn't have some lunatic who was cutting up bodies to see what was inside them, like, you know. Which is, it's in the medical industry that we have, like, it seems like it comes from dark sorcery to me, like. And I know a lot of people would be like, what? You're crazy. Like, the things we could do with modern medicine are amazing. It's like, no, I see like Frankenstein's sorcery. Like, and then like Big Pharma to me is like a bunch of like snake oil salesmen, like, you know. Pretty much, like. I see the whole society as like an inversion of what it presents itself as, for the most part. And I know a lot of you guys would agree with me, like. But I get why it'd be jarring to some normies to be like, what? Like, you think everything in a degree, like in a sense, to a degree, is like a total deception and fabrication? Like everything? It's like, yeah, well, most things. You know? It makes sense, you know. Do you know what I mean? Because if you want that much of a monopoly of power and control and ability to like change things on a massive scale in a few days and all that shit, then you would have to lie about most shit. You know what I mean? It makes sense. Right. I'm just gonna pick tunes because nobody dictated tunes. You had your chance. I said stuff. It's gone now. So if somebody says classical or hip hop, it's not happening. PEINTEINGU. I love the way this is so like generic rock, but then they're like, it does like change and all. Like, this isn't my vibe. Like, I like it, you know, but this isn't. I've said it before. Like, to me, this isn't metal. This is rock, which is nice, you know. It's fuck nice. I want extreme. Right, where's my rag? I place my demi-divine rag on my demi-divine knee. My royal rag on my... Oh, whatever, doesn't matter. This thing needs a wash. I need to boil this bitch. Speaking of bitches, need to get my bitches wet. What am I going to be doing? Yeah, I'll go with this bitch. Oh! This bitch is... she's stiff. The bitch is stiff. Stiff and dusty. Nobody likes a dusty bitch. Gotta drown the bitch. Thoroughly. Thoroughly drown your bitch. Then beat it. Beat the bitch thoroughly. Use the rag. Do it again. Don't use the rag. Leave some of the water on it. She's not ready for the goo. Now I place the goo upon the parrot. But what goo? Today we are going to be doing Thomas the Tank Engine. Kind of. It's more of a far more aggressive variation of Thomas the Tank Engine. Thomas Tanker! I'm not even playing. Like, that's what it said. I'm assuming I meant to say Thomas Tank E, as in Thomas Tank Engine. But the fact that it says Thomas Tanker is so funny to me. It's gonna be like a knockoff Asian version of Thomas the Tank Engine called Thomas Tanker, and it's like really angry and has a lot of guns on it. Like, painting goo 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 goo. Right. I'm gonna need to clean this parrot. That is a dirty parrot. Painting goo goo. I think all I will need for the moment is white brew and red. No, I will need brack. I need brack. There's lots of brack on Thomas Tank Engine, actually. Will I do it completely from memory, or will I get an image up? No, I'll do it from memory. It'll look like Thomas the Tank Engine, but it won't actually be Thomas the Tank Engine. I'm just gonna do it straight from memory. He's got red bits on him, he's got blue bits on him, he's got black bits on him, he's got a grey face. Is there like gold trim on him somewhere? I don't know. Right. We have our white! And we need our brew. Now, Thomas the Tank Engine is kind of like Sky Brew. He's like a mid blue, a medium brew, not too strong. Am I peaking? Is anyone else sound breaking up, or is it just me? It's like, did you log in and did you log out and log back in as a different Margie account, Margie? Or is there two Margies? What's going on? Is one of the Margies an imposter? What's going on here? Painting goo 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 goo. Even when I turn my neck, I can feel that thing. Oh, it's nasty. Painting goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo. Right, I'm gonna do like a white and grey silhouette first, and then I'll cover it in blue, so it'll be brighter. A couple of squirts from my tiny mister to allow the goo to flow freely. It's too bright. Oh, it keeps readjusting. It's just Margie. just you, Margie. Painting cuckoo. Now it's more like. Now it's more like him. Now it's more like fucking like gothic rock. Or vampiric rock. Not bad for a freehand circle. I suppose I am resting on my knee, so it's making it easier. I don't want to toot my own horn too much. That's nasty. Painting goo 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 goo. Sounds like painting goes in a fucking biker bar. Like it's not bad, but it's like it's a funny vibe. It's such a contrast to the actual metal that I listen to. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, one of the days I'll have to, like... I know I've done that before, where I'm like, fuck it, I don't care about copyright, and I just, like, play my favorite shit. But then, sometimes the stream gets cut off, so it's like, ah, fuck, like... Let's just say there'd be a lot of screaming. New phone, and I'm not sure if everything is off my other one. Alright. I'll use my iPad to text, then just swap out the same kind of phone. Have you on TV, iPad, and phone, and all three are breaking up? It's probably just your signal then. Sometimes that happens. Wherever you are, your signal's probably just spotty right now. If you're that's if you're the only one. If you're the only like, I'm only I'm only on YouTube, haven't I? I'm not on anything else. I was about to say, like, are you watching me on Rumble? Like, you can't. Not live, anyway. Oh, what the fuck? Bright lights! What? What the fuck? Thought I heard the female there for a sec. Oh yeah, what?
You want me to turn it off?
Oh no, it's just, I was just like, oh, because it was like right there.
Oh. Because I'll turn it off, I just leave it on for a second.
You wouldn't make us a cup of tea, would you? What was that look for?
Because I'm not
Oh, you're
making
busy. You're busy.
I'm not making myself to until I finish doing something.
And when's that?
Particular.
When's that?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, get it out of the way then and just make tea. Do 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 do. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Gotta keep the goo flowing. Must squirt. Tiny mister. So important. It's okay on the phone? Excellent. There is always a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. Painting goo. Painting goo goo. Painting goo goo. Painting goo goo goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Do 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 do. What are you doing? Just big clean up or something? I can't hear you.
Very, very busy.
What?
I'm very, very busy.
You're very, very busy, are you? Okay, well if I'm gonna put... Put one like there. There. And one right behind it. And there. Go this way. Put another one here. And then here. Yeah, let's just have it going. Really long Thomas the Tank Engine. But if he's gonna have enough guns to take on a chemically empowered giant anaconda, he's gonna need all the rank he can get. Where there's a whip, there's a way. But enough about my dreams of plantation ownership. It's like, I've decided I'm going to own my own plantation. What's the first thing you're going to do? Well, the first thing I did was I bought a whip. You're gonna own a plantation. The first thing you do, not land, not seeds, not like, no. The first thing you bought was a whip. First thing. Good solid bullwhip. Paint. Oh, okie dokie. Now, I'll let that dry completely. I'll figure out where I'm putting the snake now. Now I said top right. It's like I'm playing snooker. Corner pocket. Calling it. Paint. Oh, the next song is the one with the fucking beeping in it. I think so. Yeah, I think it is. Okay. Put this fucker here. Yeah, this is the one with the beeping, isn't it? I think so. Whipping may have been the most fun part of the Indiana Jones and the crates. The whipping people in the game. Maybe it's the next one. That big there, then. I need to make them fairly large here. Painting, goo, 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 goo. Painting. I believe it's Taproot. Was your wife concerned with how enthusiastic you were? You're like sitting there playing Indiana Jones and the missus walks in. You're like, yeah! And she just looks at you and goes, don't get any ideas. Margie, I have a mighty fine whip from my cowgirl days. Oh, I well believe it, Margie. That's hilarious. Is the beep still there? I can't remember how many songs I need to skip. I think I passed it. I need to find some proper, like, real metal with no ads. I really like the synthy shit that I picked up though. Love that shit. It does get a bit monotonous though, you know. Like I love it, but I don't like. It's one of those things you don't want to be listening to it like all the time. Kind of like metal. Let me get the teeth right. I want this thing like really mean looking as much as I can. Paintingu, paintingu, paintingu. See it. Okay. Alright, let's get some blue on the tank engine. Somehow I knew you would have one, Margie. You're a fascinating person. She's exactly what I imagined an old lady from Tennessee to be. Loads of guns, farmland, grandkids, doesn't fuck around. Has physical debilitations, but it doesn't stop her from being a boss. It's kind of like an old Irish woman. There's a reason I don't have a whip in the house. If I had it, I would use it. I'd be using it on the kids. Like, should have been sitting on the sofa. Kid picks up something that's not supposed to. Put that down! I said put it down! Could you imagine if you were such a surgeon with a whip that you could confidently like snatch things out of people's hands? Like, whips are awesome, man. I remember when I saw The Mask of Zorro, or was it just called Zorro, with Antonio Banderas and Anthony Hopkins. What's that bitch's name? Catherine Zeta-Jones. Jesus Christ, what a woman. Beautiful woman. Great movie. That has some gravy in it as well. With this, every time you increase in skill, the circle gets smaller. I want to watch that again. That's a good movie. Yeah, man, niggaroo. A lot of years in my life, there aren't much I haven't seen and done. I can only imagine. One time at the state fair, there was a picture place where they dressed you in Western style and took pictures. They told us to come in and have our pictures taken. What, like, because you suited the aesthetic of the thing? I can imagine. Painting goo goo, painting goo goo. Painting goo goo. Here comes my tea. Painting goo 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 goo. What? I said, here comes my tea. Sorry. What? Do you not like me singing? Oh, here comes the singing. I like your singing. Unlike, unless it's like the other day and you weren't really putting any effort in, you sound like shit. Remember the other day when you were like singing and shit, like, and like even, yeah, you were. That's what I mean. You weren't taking it seriously. You weren't putting the effort in. Like, you were just like messing. It sounded terrible. Right, some blue. I'm gonna knock this down a shade. It's a bit too blue for old Thomas here. Put it here. Painting goo goo, painting goo goo, painting goo goo. We were wearing our dusters and cowboy hats on that. Like, that's brilliant. You guys just walking past in dusters and cowboy hats. That's excellent. I didn't wear my spurs anymore. You used to wear spurs and all. Awesome. Proper cowgirl there. It's brilliant. Okay, that's too pale of blue. Put too much white in it. No matter. Let's put more blue in it. Even that bitch out. Yeah, that's close to what you want. But even if like I made a blue that's too pale, right? But it doesn't matter, because like if anything I could just like do a coat of the paler stuff and then go darker and then just pick spots where I think the shadows would be, you know? And I've like already made like the lighter shade. It's like you put a layer of highlight down before, you know, like you can paint in like whatever way you fucking want, really. Like, do you know what I mean? You could like go dark to light, light to dark. Like, it just depends on what you're using, what technique you're using, what materials you're using. Like, you know. This is definitely too pale. It's very bright. But some of the parts of them might look like this color blue, the shade of blue, if the light hit it right, you know. It's like when you look at a car and it's a certain color, but when the light's hitting it, it's like 3 or 4 different shades of that color, you know. And then you look at the shadow of that color, and like, you know, if you were talking about a red car, like some of the shadows could be like closer to like burgundy or some shit like that, like, you know? Even though it's all the same red, how your eye consumes the information, there's lots of different reds. It's also nice and poppy and bright as well because I put down a layer of white first. So I'm not just putting blue over loads of different colours that are like typically darker than it, like, you know. I actually love doing that. I love like painting a scene and then going over certain places with white because I'm gonna stick something in. I've seen another artist do that where he gets these old oil paintings and goes in with white. Or sometimes he doesn't, like, depending on the situation. But like basically he like just puts modern shit in old oil paintings. Like he put Darth Vader in the middle of a field with a lot of ducks. It's hilarious looking. He put in a TIE fighter from Star Wars, one of the spaceships from Star Wars, coming into the scene and like shooting it up, and like he like destroyed part of the frame and all, like to make it look 3D. Fucking awesome looking. Really cool shit. PEINTEINGU, 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 goo 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 goo. We need an 80s like themed actual PEINTEINGU tune. I'd love like a PEINTEINGU intro music. Not that like obviously me and Myro, best intro ever. Although it would be savage to have like a fucking 80s synth drum and bass kind of fucking, like the intro to an 80s anime or 90s anime or something fucking hilarious, like. You don't have horses anymore. What have you got on the land again? You have a lot of dogs. All I remember is the dogs. Don't you have a lot of dogs? Can't remember. Oh, the female give me tea. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Oh, if you're enjoying PEINTEINGU, consider supporting the stream. Click one of the many links in the description. Give me money. Give the monkey money. Or just buy something. Pay for PEINTEINGU. Filthy motor. It's good tea. Ugh, it's good tea. PEINTEINGU. PEINTEINGU, goo 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 goo. PEINTEINGU, goo 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 goo. Squirt, squirt. You must squirt on the goo to make a good throw. Right, we're gonna tone darker. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo. PEINTEINGU, PEINTEINGU. The drums in this are real punky and trashy. See, that tone is more what I'm looking. That drop D shit, that fucking like, bam. That's what I like. Painting goo 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 goo. Go shade even darker. Chickens. Now my two sons' little dogs. Oh, you took his two little dogs? What are they? Like little terriers or Jack Russells? Don't tell me they're Chihuahuas. Time Cop from '83 has a great synth vibe. Time Cop. Is that Jean-Claude Van Damme? Time Cop. I don't think I've seen that one. I don't think I ever watched Time Cop. Yeah, the 80s synth shit I really love. The stuff I've played a lot on this, like, you know, the horror, it came from the 80s. The one, the Wub Wubs, the one that fucking 2 Acre loves. It's time for raving! Yeah, like, that one. That stuff, like, I really like that music. Kind of like the soundtrack to Stranger Things, but, like, heavier and more poppy, you know? Just all that, like, retro gamer music. Quality shit, like, really cool. Right, where am I gonna put all these barrels? That's another thing I need to, like, decide. I'm gonna switch brushes. It's time for a different bitch. Painting, goo goo. Painting, goo goo. Painting, goo goo. I cannot wait for the new Doom game, but I'm not going to be able to play it because I'm still running a 4. But it's actually the first game to come out, like, since the PS5 came out, and since all the new games are coming out. Like, my whole life, I've been like, I'm playing 2, 3 comes out. Pretty close after that, I got it. Well, actually, I didn't get a PS3, I got an Xbox 360. But basically, I've kept up to date almost my entire life with the generations of consoles, because I'm a console gamer. And this generation was the first generation that I was like, well, fuck them, I don't care, like, do you know what I mean? I'm not saving up to get one, I'm not arsed, like, whatever. So I haven't really been bothered about all these, like, great looking games. I'm like, whatever, I'll play it when I get to play it. Like, the one game that I'm like, I really, really want to play that, like, day one when it comes out, is the new Derm. Is the new Derm. The new Doom. I played Doom Eternal a lot, completed it on Ultra Violence and the DLC. Really fucking good. Really good, like. Doom 2016 was also really fucking good, but I didn't play it, I didn't get into it as much as I got into Doom Eternal. Really got into Doom Eternal to the point where I made myself get really good at it and complete it on the highest difficulty and shit. And this new Doom, The Dark Ages, looks like it's just gonna be fucking epic. Like, the aesthetic of Doom guy with a Viking style fur cloak and a fucking shield that has a chainsaw style rotating blade on the perimeter of it. Like, it's kind of like a fucking violent version of Captain America, and like, he's still using guns. Like, it's so metal. It's so metal. Like, it's fucking brilliant looking. Like, can't wait for it. Like, that game's gonna do so well. This bit coming up here is quite nice. I like this, like, breakdown or whatever you'd call it. Like, again, this is the metal I'd listen to, not the stuff at the start. This shit, this is chill as fuck. See, I can't help it. I start looking like a pigeon immediately. That's some good shit. Painting, goo goo. Painting, goo goo. That's beautiful. Painting, goo goo goo, goo 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 goo. Painting, goo goo. Painting, goo goo goo, goo 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 goo. I love that one. That's really nice. Oh, just immediately went into the next one. Okay. Loads of these, I think loads of the ones of this are like similar or the same. I can't remember. Paintingu. Because this was... we definitely just listened to this. Go, 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 go. Paintingu, go, 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 go. It's like Paintingu's top 10 hits, like... Oh, a bird, a cat, wild animals that come around to eat. I would, like, I know I've said it before, and only recently, but I would, like, I would kill for the pet raccoon. There, I've said it. Not literally. I fucking love them. They're so cute. Little hands. They look like they're wearing a onesie. Like... Ugh. I know I said this the other day, but I want to keep like saying it to remind myself as well that over the coming months I'm gonna try and make like way more like I'm gonna try and get on the routine of like a symmetrical will come out, and you know you can get the stickers of it, or you can get like, I don't know if I can do prints, but like through Spotify I can do like printed canvas ones, which are much cheaper than buying the original, but I don't know how it works yet. But we'll see what happens. But like, I'll get a symmetrical out, and then a T-shirt or a character design will come out, and then be maybe a week or two, and then another symmetrical will come out, week or two. Character design or a T-shirt will come out, like, you know. So I'm gonna have all of these like T-shirts, mugs, hoodies. So that's the merch for the moment. Like I could do tote bags and stuff like that as well, but I really want to do bandanas. But I can't find a place that'll just do bandanas. I can keep looking, but part of me is like, I should just buy like a load of cheap white material or cheap white T-shirts and cut them up or something, and then try and get some paint that you can iron on to clothing. Like I have some, but I don't have the right color. It's called Seta color shit. Like, I have a few vials of it. It's the same French brand as this that Pebeo stuff, but it's called Pebeo Seta color, and you can paint it onto fabric and then set it by ironing it in. Oh, I forgot to do those two cars there. Shit. So I want all the Japanites to have Defenderu bandanas. But I don't want you to all just have like one of these. Do you know what I mean? Because like anybody can get these. You could just pick one of these up, like, do you know. So what I might do is like, it'd be like an announcement thing, where like I'm gonna design a bandana that has like my green face logo on it, or I'll come up with a new logo. Part of me was thinking it'd be funny to just do a beard and a top knot with the eyes, like, you know, do like an animated version of my face, kind of like this, you know, with just like the top knot and the beard and all, and then like have that as the centerpiece or something, and then maybe like I could look up the kanji for defend and bear, maybe, you know, because with Chinese and Japanese and all, like, you could end up saying, like, unless you know your shit, you could end up saying something totally retarded. I don't even know what it says on this thing. Apparently it says Wind God or some shit. I don't know if it says Fart Master 9000, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it could say Smelly Fuck for all I know, like. I don't think Bravey would do me like that, but I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if it's like a joke that he knew would pay off eventually. Like, oh yeah, this Van Damme movie, yeah, it was 93. I think there was a Japanese film called Time Cop from the 80s. Time Cock. It was 94. Thought you said Dune. That game looks good too. Oh, they're doing a Dune game, are they? Of course they are. No, yeah, Doom. Doom the Dark Ages. Looks amazing. Looks amazing. Thank you, my brothers, for putting up with me. We don't need to put up with you, Margie. You're not the type of person that needs to be put up with. We welcome you. You're a joy in the chat. Some of the shit you say is hilarious. Some of the stuff you say is very interesting. You know, because you're like part of the older generation and you have all these like memories of stuff you used to do and all. Like, it's awesome. I love having you in the chat, Margie. Raccoons are so adorable. I fucking love them. They're like one of my favorite animals. I agree with Vox. I think otters are like insanely cute. And they also have like little hands, you know. Raccoons, otters. Jumping spiders have gone viral the last few years. Like, fucking jumping spiders are really cute. It's like the... I don't know if they're the only spider, but like, there's only a few spiders that you can actually class as cute. And jumping spiders are like genuinely cute. And they're awesome. Right, so there'd be another one starting here, so I'll go darker. Darker there. But then there'd be light again. I'm trying to show that like there's a car like level with the ground. And then the next car is like going down a hill. So from that perspective you would see one car is angled while the other car isn't angled and just like sitting behind it. If I was to teach art, like if I was to teach, not teach art, if I was to teach painting and drawing or something, I think I would start with just shapes. Because that's pretty much how I evolved. It was just shapes. Just like understand how to create a shape, you know? And then go from there. A lot of people are like, they start trying to draw like people. I never did that. Like I did and I didn't. I would always get bored trying to like draw people, and I would like draw interesting stuff. You know, monsters, dragons, like stuff that doesn't have such a recognizable shape. So if you get it wrong, it looks off, you know. And then like eventually move on to people and try and get like more realistic looking people. But that's if you want realistic looking people. Like, you know, my style is very cartoonish. But like I've said before, it's like I struggle with that kind of, where like there's a part of me that wants to just embrace my style and like take it as far as I can go. And then there's another part of me that's like, no, I need to learn how to be like a traditional artist and do stuff like, you know, academic drawing and learn the fundamentals and the principles of art and illustration and all this shit. And it's like, I kind of have to do both, you know? I think that's what like a real artist is like you should be both, you know? You should like learn the craft that's been developed over hundreds of years by all these different people and learn all the tricks and the trade and all this fucking shit, all the secrets, and then apply what is essentially your ego to it, you know, in whatever way you can. And the same can be said of anything, you know, art, fighting, carpentry, all that shit. Like any kind of vocation, you learn the fundamental core attributes and properties and rules and behaviors in a stereotypical fashion of like the broad way of what it is to be a blacksmith, a carpenter, a painter, a mechanic, you know, engineer, all these things. And then once you've grasped the fundamentals, you know, you put your own twist on things. But at the same time, it's not just the fundamentals. Like, there are stuff that, like, the longer you're doing this, the craft, you'll come across people are like masters that have very specific skills that nobody else knows, you know. And if you can like assimilate that into your style, you can make yourself even more unique and even better. There is something to be said about that, like that, you know, the whole thing of like, well, I don't want to be like other people. I want to be me. I want to be special. I want to be unique. It's like, no, you do want to be like other people. You know all the good people in the world. Yeah, you want to be like them to a degree. You know, it's good to be like other people, as long as those people that you are like are good people. That's essentially all role modeling is and all that. That's what it's called, modeling. Like, you know, you're following a model. You're following a modality. Following a way of being. Everybody needs a way. That's what all this religion, Jesus stuff is all about, in my opinion. It's just everybody finding their way. There is no one true way. There are many ways. Many, many ways. Many are good, many are bad. Some are a bit of both. PEINTEINGU. PEINTEINGU. Goo 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 goo. Too gooey. Refed it on the parrot too wrong. It's got too gooey. Do all you can and want to while you're still young. Well, that's good advice, yeah. In general. You should see spiders under a microscope. Why? Like, specifically what kind of, like... I've never seen a spider under a microscope. Like, I've seen, like, really high definition zoomed in, like... You know, like a photography thing on... a documentary or something where it's like a real close-up on a tarantula where you can see its like individual hairs on its face and stuff, like. But I've never seen anything like that under a microscope. It would be fascinating to see the like because you know when you go to the microscopic level and you look at something like skin or water or like anything really on a microscopic level, it's basically just patterns. It's just shapes and patterns. Which is like really cool when you think about it, like, you know. So like what shape, all these little shapes make up a big shape, like, you know. And it's like I was talking about earlier on, where it's like, you're not just you. You are not one thing. You, the one thing, the vessel, is comprised of many, 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 like, tiny things, you know. And then if you upscale it, like, it does make sense in a way. Where you could have these titans and then they died or they're asleep and then stuff grows all over them, you know. That's fascinating shit. Oh, recipe. part of me wants to leave it there because I've other shit to do and I'm hungry, but then part of me wants to quickly do some work on the snake. Maybe throw down a base color. No, I'm gonna leave it there. 2 hours and 15 minutes is a solid run. I need to... My ass is numb. I need to finish my tea and I'm hungry. I have shit to do. It would be wild if Defender's paintings were manifesting somewhere in the realm upon completion. Man, I've thought about some shit like that, like with some of the paintings, where I'm like, it's mad. Like, I'll see something like a color, like a color choice, or like, you know, if I do like, you know, dudes like niggas in the painting on the yacht or something like. And I don't know whether it's like me being manipulated by shit I've seen subconsciously, like if I just like if my you know, when because you can your eyes can see something and you won't register it, but your subconscious has registered it. So quite often I'm like, have I seen stuff and my subconscious is just like slapping it together like I'm daydreaming and stuff, like, because there's been some things where I'm like not necessarily a sync, but I'm seeing vague correlations and patterns between certain things. Not all the time, just occasionally where I've looked at a PEINTEINGU and I've been like, huh. Like the wallet throwing its money away. When Margie was like, do a wallet. And then, I can't remember, like, I can't remember if it was Margie who was like, do a wallet throwing away its money. Or if I came up with that half, I can't remember how it went down. But it was Margie who was like, do a wallet. And then I do the wallet. And it's hilarious looking. But it's also weirdly a symbol. It's like a sign of the times. That even like, the situation with debt is so out of control that if a wallet had sentience, it would like throw the money away. Even though it's the thing that contains the money. Like, do you know what I mean? Because that's kind of the vibe that we are living in. Is like, the most ironic, most hilarious and comedic inversion is probably what's gonna happen. It's weird, like, fucking weird. Someone contacts Defender to say, stop, they're coming to life and we can't stop them. I mean, yeah, like, I would, if I started affecting reality the same way that Owen has affected reality in some ways, like where he'll like make a joke or say something and then like it's like a trend a few weeks later or some shit. If I started doing that, we'd get some wild stuff. Could you imagine if dot bots became a real thing? That'd be so funny. A fucking a delivery drone with an Indian accent. We might actually get that. There might actually be, like, in the next 5 years or 10 years or maybe 20 years or something, there might be a delivery drone with Amazon written on it instead of like a dot on it, where it's like, you know, because that's just hilarious. But like, it might have an accent like that. Do you know what I mean? Because there's so many Indians in that environment. Like, you know, you could actually, for proper representation reasons and all, like look at the reporter talking to Trump. The reporter talking to Trump was like, do you think that we should continue, like, in the services of the... And Trump's like, I can't understand a word he's saying. Like, do you know, like... And I've spoken to a lot of people like that on the phone, like, hello, sir. I am here to offer you a one-time deal and fucking, like, you know, like... And I can understand them. You know, like, some of them are the accent's really heavy and it's hard to understand them, but it's hilarious. I also think, like, that accent, that Mumbai speaking English accent is one of the funniest accents in existence. Thank you, come again. Hello, sir. What would you like today, sir? How may I help you? Like, it's so fucking funny, like, surrender the Bobs and Virgin or you will all be annihilated. It's a T-1000 with a beard and a turban. Like, it's so fucking funny, like. But we could totally see that. You could totally just like order something from McDonald's, you know, and it shows up with a Happy Meal, and it's like ding dong, like a little arm comes out of the thing and hits the doorbell. Or it wouldn't even do that. It would email you. It would send you a notification on your phone, and you'd be like, "Oh, my food is here," and you'd walk to the front door and open it, and there'd just be a drone floating there, and it just says Amazon on it. But then it's like, greetings, citizen. Your Amazon order number 15551555432 has arrived. Please sign here to accept your order, sir. Like, I could totally see that being a thing. You know, like, granted, it'd be way fucking funnier if they were called dotbots. But that's probably not gonna happen. But anyway, right, I'm gonna love yous and leave yous. Happy Monday. I hope I brought good energy to the start of the week, as one of the purposes of PEINTEINGU. So one of the many P's of PEINTEINGU is to make your day easier to handle. Oh, have some fun. Take the piss. Don't take life too seriously, but don't be a bitch, especially a dishonorable one. Right. Be good, be true, be beautiful, and pay for PEINTEINGU. And I shall see you, same time, same place, same high-octane PEINTEINGU energy tomorrow. Until then, sayonara, you filthy mortars. Painting, goo goo.